What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. NBA Talk with Jay, man. We got our guy Fiddle in here. You see what I'm saying, man? We're trying to get some cash. Full slate today, Fiddle. There's no games on Tuesday. So for election day, I had to ask, man. I was like, damn, why is no games on Tuesday? It's like it's election day. It's what I'm saying, last day to get your votes in, man. So we have every game, every NBA team in action today. Not every NBA player, because some of them choose to get paid millions and just sit. But Fiddle watch Laurie Marketing go from out to doubtful to questionable and end up playing now that he sees the Bulls on the on the schedule over there, man. It's kind of crazy how they had. Oh, I'm not hurt anymore. No, you know what? I'm all good now. I got my. Oh, that's the team that traded me. Oh, I'm ready to play now. But what's up with you, Fiddle? Everything cool with you, my brother?
I'm doing well. I'm hyped because not only is there 15 games, but we have staggered start times through all of them. So it's kind of like NBA red zone tonight where the fourth quarters are just going to be rolling in one after another. There's a few games that are just complete garbage and we could use those as bathroom breaks, but this should be a very fun night to just sit back. And if you have League Pass, I think there's going to be a channel where they're just flipping through fourth quarter after fourth quarter and tuning into one game after the next. Some of them start 5 minutes after each other, some of them 15 minutes, but should be a really fun NBA card. This is a new wrinkle in the schedule to have all 15 teams going, all 30 teams going through 15 games and these staggered start times. So I'm excited to see the way it plays out.
Yep, that's a fact. Some teams playing later than they're used to, all that good stuff, man. But yeah, let's talk about it. We're not here to waste your time. Shout out to the chat as well. If you guys are watching the show, if you appreciate the info as well, man, appreciate us bringing our time here, sharing our time here. Hit the like button one time for the one time. Shout out to my guy YBB in the chat. We got LJ in the chat as well. Michael Jones, Free Mind. Everybody's in the chat, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Let's get straight to it in this one. Let's go over here. First game up. Let's head to the streets of Cleveland. This one, Cavs land 7 points at the house versus the Bucks. Obviously, the Bucks have not started out well. They did play a really good game versus the Cavs on Saturday over there. Really should have won that game. Dame had like 10 3-pointers. He was going absolutely crazy in that game. They couldn't stop him. I kind of said that on the show as well that Dame, this was a bounce back spot for him. He smashed his point total over there and threes as well there, Fiddle. But Donovan Mitchell did basically hit that game winner as well. Now you see a big flip for this game here. Went from Bucks land 2 all the way to Cavs land 7 here at the house. Do you think the Bucks could possibly keep this game closer, or do the Cavs just keep on rolling and make it 8-0 to start the season?
If you look at the futures market too, Jay, the Cavs jumped the Bucks in this recent window in title odds too. So not only is it like an adjustment in the home situation, because now the Cavs are home and the last game was in Milwaukee. There's been a power ratings adjustment as well here in between these two games. So the league is trying to tell you, the books are trying to tell you, Cavaliers are just outrightly the much better team for me. Doc Rivers might be the worst coach in the league right now. I still think this has to be Bucks or nothing. It's really hard to fade getting 9 points of line movement difference in a game that ended as a 1-point game. And really the Bucks came out to a huge start in that game, and then the Cavs crawled back the whole time. These teams are very familiar with each other. They're divisional opponents. They've had relatively same core groups, so they should play each other close. The Bucks should be hungry, a little bit angry. I'm staying away from this game because it's terrifying to back the Bucks right now, but it has to be a Bucks or nothing situation.
Yeah, the spot would say take the Bucks. I can't do it. Now, look, the Cavs are really nice. Like they are the much better team. I'll tell you that right now. But we saw how the Bucks came out. Like the Bucks, they can somewhat match up well with the Cavs, and Donovan Mitchell and Garland. They're not stopping Dame. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing that's going to be working for the Bucks here. They're a great matchup. The Cavs are a great matchup for Giannis, stopping Giannis with Mobley and Jared Allen down low. But on the flip side, this is just Dame's. It's a really good matchup for him. Garland and Mitchell, even if they were really great defensively, which they are, they're too short as well. So Dame is shooting all over these guys, man. They're leaving them wide open. So I do expect them to pay a little bit more attention to him this game, but then it's going to leave Giannis open. But I'm with you. I feel like it was the way. Like if you're laying the 7 here with the Cavs, you're definitely paying a premium in this particular game. So it's not saying that they can't get it done or win this game by double digits. Just know that like there's definitely a few extra points tacked onto this spread, and you know what I mean. So obviously, our guy Fiddle talked about value. The value would not be on the Cavs in this one. This line is definitely should probably be 4.5, 5 where it came out at first. Then you see the adjustment 7, 7.5. The sharp side would be Bucks, but like I say, one thing I have noticed so far this season, the sharp sides have not been cashing. Like, it's not to that point in the season where you want to like buck the trends. Right now, you want to just go with what you know. So everybody that's taking Cavs, I understand what we're seeing from the Bucks is not good. Last game they looked good, but I understand you taking just going with what you know, going with trusting your eyes. Those are the plays that have been cashing right now. Trying to go against the grain has just not really been cashing right now. Fiddle, any thoughts on the under
I
here?
just want to speak to something that you slipped in there about sharp sides. Like,
Yeah.
there's a bell curve to NBA betting, really any type of betting, where you get to the mid-season where the data is compiled, the rotations are clear, the injury information becomes more known. You could price players situationally. You have some matchups between teams that you could use. Where do these games open and close, respectively? So you absolutely want to be betting into sharp sides like December, January, February, and then March is the time where rotations start to get wonky again. People start planning for the playoffs, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So you do really see this bell curve of market efficiency in the NBA. So I think that's right. And Paul says right here on the screen, under 228. They both know each other right now. This line came out 230, now at 228. So if there was going to be one sharp side for this game, it'd probably be the under. However, that first game, they scored so much through the first three quarters and then went ice cold in the fourth. So I'm a little scared to back an under with these teams, but that would be the right side too.
Yeah, and the Cavs have definitely been playing faster as well. But I'll tell you right now, it's Bucks or nothing for me, especially in the quick revenge spot as well, man. It's the 7. It's a bit much. We know that the Bucks still have some pride as well, man. So let's see what happens in this one. But I knew everybody's gonna like the Cavs here. But yes, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks came to play in this one and were able to get some revenge. They really should have won their first game in Milwaukee there, man. Let's go over here to DC in this one. Wizards getting 10 points at the house versus the Warriors in this one. I think there's two teams. There's probably 3 teams in the NBA you probably should be betting against right now. That's the Warriors, that's the Thunder, and that's the Boston Celtics as well. The Warriors seem like they're on a mission. Steph, no Steph, doesn't matter. They absolutely own the Rockets over there. Rockets did come all the way back from down 31 and pushed it to overtime and then still end up losing that game in overtime there. Obviously, Warriors, Torres, and some history there. Should we lay 10 with them without Steph, though? Or Steph is upgraded to a question where somebody they could possibly come back in this game, Fiddle. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, he was at shoot-around, but I think we heard this weekend that Steph was probably still a week away. So at shoot-around, I don't totally know. That's kind of wait and see. It's pricey to play the Warriors -10 on the road without Steph and Melton. Like that's a crazy line. I would look towards the over. There's 232, I think available, 232.5. These teams both play so fast and they shoot a lot of threes. So this is a game that should go towards the over. Of course, Jordan Poole's been incredible this season, Jay. Like he has been actually unbelievable. And so I think if you're the Warriors and you have a little bit of animosity there, and if you're got all the Draymond situation, like you would be a little think they'd go, heavy on the defense today and come out with a strong defensive effort to stop Poole and to play against this. But I got no plays on this game as it stands right now. If anything, I would look towards the over.
Yeah, that's a great point there, man. Obviously, Jordan Poole going up against Draymond, man. See if them boys have a little bro hug out there. I doubt it.
Nope.
So Juice likes Koulibaly double plus 730 and that one. That's definitely some great price.
There's going to be a lot of stats in this game, so that's not a bad one.
Yeah, shit. Jordan Poole, man, he actually has looked pretty good. I'm not a fan of him at all. I don't like his game, but this year he's been balling, man. He says he doesn't have anything to prove, but he's actually been playing pretty good. Sarr has also been defending the paint as well. Looked a little bit better than he looked a lot better. He has looked a lot better than he did in summer league and in the preseason for sure. So maybe Sarr isn't as bad as we think. Still have some guys over there. Obviously the Warriors are just really going crazy right now. Don't necessarily like the fact them laying double digits here on the road. We've heard guys like Draymond Green say it's hard to get up for games like this. It's hard to get up for games like the Wizards when we know that they're ass. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to really exert a ton of energy, risk a ton of energy or risk injury in these type of games, man. So Draymond specifically, we've heard him say they don't care about these type of games, man. So I can't stomach to take the Wizards here, but if I had to play the game, I would take the double-digit home underdog here. But it's just, man, the Wizards can just go on dry spells where they don't score for like 5-7 minutes, man. Then the Warriors be them blown this shit open, just like they did in Portland, where it was a close game, and then before you know it, they're up 30 fucking points, man, in a snap of a finger. So that's the only thing that's problematic with taking teams like the Wizards. All it takes is one run, 15-0 run, and then there's the game right there. But If Steph doesn't play, it would be a ton of points to lay with the Warriors versus opponent that we know that they won't respect. Let's go over here to Detroit in this one. Pistons getting 7.5 points at the house versus the Lakers in this one. Lakers have won 7 straight matchups versus the Pistons. They're 1-2 so far on this road trip. Fiddle, I'm sure they'd like to at least even up, go 2-2 before they head out there to Memphis. What do you think about this game? Pistons coming off of a nice win yesterday in Brooklyn.
I'm currently on another tab in my screen right now, betting the under 227.5. So
Okay.
I'm literally making that move right now as we're talking. This feels like an under spot. This feels like a line that might close at like 225.5 ish. We're seeing it move right now. It was 227.5 when I was doing my show a few minutes ago. It's been a Lakers spot in the market. Moving from 6.5 to 7.5 is a very important move through the 7. However, playing the Lakers on the road is not a situation I want. The Pistons coming off of a road upset win against the Brooklyn Nets, who look better than expected. I just think both the Pistons look better than we thought they would be. They have a solid half court defense. They have some shooters finally around Cade to space the floor on offense. I think it's a strong under spot, but I got nothing on the game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. So, Fiddle liking the under in this one. I don't really have much on this one. I mean, shit, Lakers are minus 6.5 at one point here. It's just, I mean, obviously the Lakers have looked a lot better than we thought as well. But I mean, I knew that the Pistons were going to be scrappy. They were scrappy towards the end of the season last year as well, even without Cade. So I said it. I've been saying all year, them and the Hornets are going to be like surprise teams. I didn't expect the Nets to be the surprise, but I mean, I kind of had a feeling that the Pistons were going to beat them boys outright as well. And the market did as well. That line was up to 4 yesterday. It ended up closing like at 2.5. So the market liked the Pistons yesterday as well. Obviously, this is a back-to-back spot for them, traveling from Brooklyn not too far. It's only their third home game as well. They're 0-2 so far at the house. I don't know if they could beat the Lakers straight up. This is a tough game for me. This is a great game to watch. We'll see how serious the Lakers are. If they want to stack up wins, you have to beat teams like the Pistons over there, man. But like I say, we do know there's history with Isaiah Stewart and LeBron as well. If you guys remember, he bloodied his mouth or something. Isaiah Stewart was one. He wanted LeBron. He wanted him, man. He was trying to go after his ass. So, I don't really have too many thoughts on this one. Obviously, Lakers still on the East Coast as well. It's just kind of a tough game. The Lakers have owned these guys, though. They've won the past 7 games versus the Pistons, although the Pistons are 6-3-1 against the spread last 10 versus the Lakers. So great game to watch. Not something that I really feel a great side on betting, to be honest with you. Let's go over here to Atlanta in this one. Hot Atlanta Hawks getting 10 at the house versus Celtics in this one. Hawks are really banged up right now. They just beat another banged up team, the Pelicans, yesterday. So it's another team coming off a back-to-back. They are getting double digits at the house. I mean, I'm not betting against the Celtics, even though without Jaylen Brown, Tatum's been looking like he's really gunning for MVP. He's been going absolutely crazy. If you guys remember last year as well, the Celtics have lost back-to-back games. They lost back-to-back games versus Atlanta last year towards the end of the season, just where they didn't care. One of those games, they were up by like 20-some points, and then the Hawks came all the way back to win. Then the Hawks won the next game as well as 16-point underdogs at the house, 123-122 in overtime, guys. So Celtics have actually lost back-to-back versus the Hawks here, Fiddle. What do you think about this game?
They also lost back-to-back, I think, 2 years ago against them in the playoffs, too, because they were up, I think, 2-0, and then it became a 2-2 series. So it's been back-to-back years where the Hawks have played the Celtics pretty well. I like the under again in this spot. This was very interesting in terms of pricing, Jay, because they play each other 8 days from now in Boston. Hawks at Boston in next Tuesday's NBA Cup game. And you know how we get like a bunch of those NBA Cup games priced out ahead of time? The Hawks were 10.5 point underdogs in that game on the road. And they were also 10.5 point underdogs at home. So it brings me no surprise to see the Hawks taking a little bit of steam and coming down to 10, because even though there's a bit of injuries, even though there's the back-to-back situation, like the home court advantage is worth enough that it shouldn't be the same price home and in the road. I played the under because that game on the look ahead was 231.5 for like most of the season. We have Jaylen Brown out for the Celtics as well. It's another reason why there should be action on the Hawks side, despite the injuries. We've known the Hawks injuries. They've been playing with these injuries for a little while. They're not new injuries that are, hey, this guy is questionable, then going to out. We need to move the line. It's all been baked in. The Jaylen Brown stuff has been news that's dropped. So I lean under and I lean Hawks, but I'm not playing the Hawks. I am playing the under.
Okay, man, that game that was on March 25th, the Celtics literally led 65-36 with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and they lost the game, guys. So, they were laying 10.5 points in that game as well. So, just actually kind of wonky stuff, man. I wonder, you know what, they probably got some little side things down there in Atlanta. I bet you they do, bro. They got some little side cheeks down there, man. But so I'm not betting against the Celtics. Like, this team can turn it on. They start bombing you from three. The Hawks are just missing some of they're missing their guys, man. They're missing DeAndre Hunter. He's not the greatest guy offensively, but you would like to have him here to at least go up against Tatum. You know what I mean? So
yep.
yeah, they won't have Bogdanovich coming off the bench as well. So Dyson Daniels ended up coming back yesterday. He saw that he was playing the Pelicans. Yeah, I'm not hurt anymore. I'm coming back to play in this game. Jalen Johnson went crazy. Trae Young went crazy as well. They had a great game yesterday, man. But the Hawks they're not really a great team. I mean, this team they've covered one spread so far this season, and that was yesterday. And that was because the Pelicans literally missing like damn near whole starting lineup over there, man. So, and the Hawks kind of struggled in that game until the fourth quarter. So I really don't want any parts to do with the Hawks, even though the Celtics are without Brown. I can see Tatum going crazy here. I don't like that his points prop is at 30 and a half, but Tatum has shown that his jump shot is getting better. He's a much better three-point shooter. He's still getting rebounds, assists as well. I feel like the Celtics could really do whatever the hell they want in this particular game, man. But they do have the Warriors on deck, but it's not tomorrow. So really tough game. But I'm not betting against the Celtics. I said all that to say I'm not betting against the Celtics, especially with a team like the Atlanta Hawks as well. That's they're not totally depleted, but they're missing some important guys over there, man. Let's go over here to a little revenge spot here, Fiddle. Nets getting 5 at the house versus the Grizzlies. Now the Nets have surprised. We saw yesterday versus the Pistons that they're still, it's still early in the season, and they still don't really have much of a future over there. They did just beat Memphis not too long ago, like literally a few days ago as well. But Memphis still had Bane and Smart. That was the game that they got hurt in as well. Do you think that I'd like to be talked into the Grizzlies here because I'd like to take them in revenge spot? We know that the Nets are playing over their head. You might not have Ben Simmons in this one because they've been doing that injury management BS, whatever. And the Nets would actually miss him here. They don't have a ton of size. Claxton's on a minutes restriction. Clowney's on the injury report. The only other guy that you have that's really like over 6'10" is Ben Simmons, even though he doesn't play like a big man. The Nets, that's where you have the advantage. I think Edey could go crazy in this game, Fiddle. I'd like to be talked into the Grizzlies in a revenge spot here.
I could talk you into it simply from a market cap. There's 4.5s available. We know 4.5 was the open. There's things 5.5 available. So 5 is the second most common outcome and one of the most common push numbers in the NBA. So if you simply get the 4.5 before it closes at 5 or 5.5, you take that out value every time. Sorry for using the V word that you hate, but you take that every time and you blindly play.
I don't hate it.
And you say, I don't care what teams are playing. I don't care what the injury report is. All I know is I have a 4.5 when the line closes at 5 or 5.5. Signed me up. So I have no plays on this game. This is the one where I'll be taking a bathroom break during the fourth quarters. And it has to be Grizzlies or nothing from a market perspective.
Yeah. Even though they were without Bane and Smart, I just feel like the Grizzlies, you want to pay attention to those teams that had a bad year the year before, and John Morant knows that, and they're coming, like literally, they're trying to win every single game. They were kind of BSing around with Philly. They're like, hold on, man, let's stop playing with these guys. We need to stack up every single win. We're coming off a year where we literally had to tank, man. So, but just matchup wise, I don't know who's going to stop Ja Morant. Like Cam Johnson's a great defender, but like I don't know who's stopping Ja Morant. I don't know who's going to have the paint protection to stop him or Edey. Like Ja Morant getting into the paint, or that lob pass where Edey is going to be there literally all night, man. So I can't talk. Jerz off in the chat there said Ja Morant, he likes his over assists. This obviously they just lost to this team as well, man, on October 30th. That was 5 days ago. That was the last loss that they took. I think the Grizzlies can get some revenge here. Nets were playing over their head. They're not as bad as we thought, but this team still has plenty of flaws as well. And obviously, unless Cam Thomas goes for 35 to 40 points, I don't see them a pathway for them to have a chance to win this game, man. So I think Grizzlies is the spot in this particular game, and wouldn't be surprised if it happened early and often as well. Keep an eye on Clowney. Keep an eye on Ben Simmons gets ruled out as well with the back injury management there. But I think regardless, the Grizzlies should be the side here, especially with that quick revenge. Like last Last time they probably overlooked them with the Bucks on deck the next day. This time they don't have anybody on deck the next day, and they playing with revenge. I feel like the Grizzlies are the spot in this particular game, man. I like the Grizz here. Let's go over here to Miami in this one, Fiddle. Shout out to my guy Marlo in the chat as well. Fiddle going to Miami here, man. Heat land point at the house versus the Kings.
So the Kings' last game, this is their 4th game of their road trip, right? This is their 4th and final game of a road trip before they go home. You don't love playing into the final spot of a road trip because they might be like just waiting to get back. Their last game was in Toronto in a game that went to overtime. So then the Toronto to Miami trip is one of the longer East Coast road trips you can make in the Eastern Conference. And you're also from Sacramento. And then you also have to do the whole customs thing. This is a tough situational spot for the Kings early in the season. And yet the Kings are taking steam to the point where they were a 3-point dog at open, and now they're favorites. Like, I don't know if anything's happening in the Miami injury report to cause that. So there's clear Sacramento steam, but I want nothing to do with it given the situational spot for the Kings. So a total skip for me.
Yeah, it's a situational bet against for both teams in theory. Heat are coming off a game where they just played in 7,000 feet above 7,000 feet altitude over there in Mexico City. So that's another thing. Like, that's something I was looking towards. I said, I feel like probably both of these teams will be a fade. The Heat just played the Wizards in Mexico City. That was just a couple of days ago as well. So the Heat aren't necessarily coming off an easy travel spot as well. And we know that over the years, they haven't really been the greatest team as far as covering the spreads, being like a home favorite at the house. They're only, 2-4, 2-3 against the spread so far this season as well. And like I say as well, with the Kings, the way that they run and gun, if the Heat are a little bit gassed, the Kings aren't necessarily the team that you'd like to play as well, man. So
right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a tough spot for both of them, but the Heat were, like you said, we're -2, 2.5 yesterday, and now there's actually a few -1s out there for the Kings. So yep. Somebody knows something. Some money's coming on Sacktown here. I can't say if I had to play it, I'd probably look at the Kings in this. I know that they're coming off the overtime loss versus the Raptors. Probably they kind of sold as well, man. Doing it for Vince Carter over here. Let the Raptors get their win one time for Vince Carter, one time for the one time, but. I feel like the Kings could bounce back in this particular game. It is the 4th game over here on this East Coast road trip. It's the 4th game of a road trip. The 3rd game though that's like on the East Coast, and then they will head back to the house after this one. But I do lean to the Kings, man. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I definitely trust their offense a lot more than Miami Heat's offense. That's for sure. You obviously trust Heat's defense a little bit more. So tough spot for both teams. That means that I'm probably going to stay away. But I kind of agree with the Kings going to the favor in this one. Shout out to Mean Green Sports Picks. That Edie over 8.5 points. That sounds nice. That tell me is Edie points really not really like that, man. I feel like that's the spot right there. What did Ronald say? Going back to 1995, 7 is the most common outcome. 5 is the second. 6 and 8 are the most common outcome in the last 5 seasons. 5 is the third. Appreciate.
Can I comment on this, Jay?
Go ahead.
Scrap the fucking data from 1995.
Yeah, there's different years.
The last 3 seasons, I'd update my key numbers every year. The last 3 seasons, and then every quarter of a year I add it on so that by the end of the season I have 4 seasons of data, but midway through the season I have 3.25, 3.5, or whatever. 6 is the most common outcome in the NBA the last 3 seasons. So I've seen use 3, 7, 5, use 3, 5, 7, and 10. We see UCapper saying 7 is the most common, 5 is the second. These are all very important. If you're in the range of 4 through 8, you're in NBA key number zone. 6 is the most important one.
Man, I wish we still had 1995 basketball. Please, you don't understand what I would do to go back. Year. You don't understand what I would do to go back. They're still fucking flopping, Fiddle. They're still baiting fouls and arguing with the refs and shit, and nobody really playing defense or chunking up threes. Every game is a 3-point contest. So that's what I mean by the difference of 1995. But I'm not, whatever, man. Let's go over here. I'm not going to get off onto a tangent, man. But let's go over here to Houston over here. Rockets getting 2 at the house versus the Knicks. Fiddle, this line was at 3.5 yesterday. Why do you think it's went down to -2?
Just probably the home Rockets situation and a little home court advantage thing. When Ime's coming off of a loss, I would imagine he screams at his players like Sean Payton does for the Denver Broncos, and they become a really good team off of a loss situation. they don't totally look right. The Houston Rockets, their rotations, especially not really using Reed Shepherd, is a pretty strange development early into the season. So, and the Knicks are a team that I've been wanting to back, but they just haven't come out looking that good. So even though this market's moving, it's been a complete no bet for me. We're also seeing some movement towards the under. No thanks.
Yeah, shit. They had won 8 straight versus the Rockets. For Rockets end up getting them last year, February 12th, 105-103 in that particular spot. I mean, I like the Knicks. They cashed for me versus the Heat. I didn't bet the game versus the Pistons, but they smoked them from start to finish. Like, they made the Pistons. That's probably why the Pistons were such a good look yesterday. They were pissed off getting smacked versus the Knicks. Knicks are a top tier, absolute top tier defensive team. Why don't we play the under here, Fiddle? I know you don't want anything to do with this game, but the Rockets are what 4-2 to the under so far this season. They've been a really great under bet because the offense still isn't like in top gear. You look at the Knicks. I know their last few games have went over, but they hadn't really played like really great defensive teams as well. Well, they did put 116 on the Heat, but I feel like this could possibly be an under spot. If the Rockets want a chance to win this game, you have to lock up on defense. Absolutely. Brunson and Cat, you have to keep these guys from going off for 30 points. Obviously the Knicks are the much better team, but this is their third straight road game as well. They went from Miami to Detroit, back out down here to Houston. So that's actually a pretty tough little travel there. They're not just going down the street. They're traveling all over the place here. So some sharps, somebody's putting some money on the Rockets to take that down 1.5 points right there, especially without anybody being on the injury report. Someone likes the Rockets out there to win this game, and they are coming off of a game where they were down by 31 points and then came all the way back to take the Warriors. That was actually pretty impressive from the Rockets because they could have just got blown the fuck out. They were down 21 in the fourth quarter. Before you know it's a 7-point game. So they showed that they never give up over there. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets were able to do well, but if they did, I think it's correlated with the under there. Fiddle, any thoughts on that total, or you want to get to the next game?
Next game. Do you mind if I point out something real quick for a previous game that we talked about that I'm just seeing right now on the board?
Go ahead.
Warriors Wizards, there's a -9 at Bet Rivers, and then there's plus 10.5 elsewhere, like Bet 365, Circa, like a bunch of spots have plus 10.5. If you play both of those at the exact same time, you have a profitable position.
Okay.
The fact that you could push on the 10, push on the 9, win both on the 10, and then you essentially insurance yourself in both directions. It's essentially a 20-1 bet when you open up those fiddles middles, like I like to do. So if people like their parlays and they like stacking together things for 8-1 or 14-1 or whatever, considering opening a middle, which actually you have to put more money down at first, but the risk factor creates a 20-1 position that's instantly plus EV. So those 8-1 parlays are garbage because they're minus 30% EV. This is 20-1 plus EV. Sign up for that.
And you know what, Fiddle? People are gonna hate that. It's not even that they don't understand it, but people just like to parlay. They'd rather put the 18 part. Even like what you're saying is making perfect sense, but like, I mean, for whatever reason, my chat is pretty smart, but just for the mainstream bettors, they're like, no, I'd rather put this parlay in. They don't even understand
the math of middles and the fact that these things cancel out. And you do have to put, like, again, you'd have to put 110 to win 100 on both sides. So at the end of the day, you can win one, lose one. You cannot possibly lose both, and you can possibly win both, right? So you're going to potentially lose $10 if you win one, lose one, right? Because 110 to win 100, you would lose $10 in that situation. Or if you win both, you can make 200. So it's a 20-1 essentially bet. That's the math breakdown of the middle.
No, I understand it. And that sounds a whole lot better. I'd rather try to hit my shot with that on the 21 than doing an 18 parlay, like you say.
Instantly
that you need everything.
EV. You're paying 5% implied probability to do that. I could tell you right now, it has north of a 6.5% chance of hitting.
I like
it's low probability, but it's plus value.
Hey, we appreciate you for dropping the gems on the show, man. That's a fact. Let's go over here to the streets of Minnesota in this one. Wolves land 9.5 at the house versus the Hornets in this particular game. Wolves coming off a game where it's kind of like a scheduled loss. They got in super late, got to their hotel like 4:15 in the morning, man. I'm surprised they even sent that info out before the game there as well. Wolves land 9.5 versus the Hornets, a scrappy Hornets team as well. But they are a little thin in the front court as well, Fiddle. What do you think about this game? Should we trust the Wolves here, land 9.5 points?
No, because both of these teams shoot so many threes that like there's a variance angle to this game where it's like you would almost say
You don't fucking say.
What?
No, I'm just saying every fucking NBA game, this is what these guys are doing, man.
Oh
But
yeah,
no,
but these two teams way
yeah,
more than expectation, but
you're right.
above anybody else. So it's like it's tough to buy into that kind of discrepancy. I like the over for that situation. I don't know if you could 226 or 226 and a half is going to be the best thing on the board right now. I would absolutely play the over because of the way these teams are shooting so much. I gave out a minus 340 last week. I won't give out the plus 380 this week, but that's the direction that I would look, if anything.
Okay,
Plus
so
10,
you
plus
lean
380, but
towards
over
the
is the
Hornets.
actual bet I've placed.
Man, the Hornets are a scrappy team, man. I'm telling you this. So Gobert is questionable for this game. If Gobert doesn't, if he did happen to sit out in this one, that would kind of even things up in the front court here, in my opinion, for the Hornets. We know guys, LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, like these guys. They have somebody, Trey Mann, looking like Allen Iverson out there, man, literally going crazy. So that 9.5 is a bit much. The Wolves have only covered one spread this season, and they covered it by 1 point. That was versus the Kings as well on the road. So other than that, the Wolves have not been covering spreads. They needed a late comeback. They needed for the Nuggets to only score 2 points in the last 3.5 minutes in that game to win that game versus the Nuggets as well, man. So the Wolves still trying to get things figured out with DiVincenzo and Julius Randle over there. I don't know if I trust them laying 9.5 points versus Hornets offense that's kind of humming right now. They're coming off a couple games playing the Celtics as well, where they really hung in there with the Celtics in both of those games. I know it was
like
at the house, but
like 3.5 quarters, Jay, right? And then it kind of the wheels kind of fell off late. Also, Grant Williams and Tatum, there's some beef there.
Yeah, for sure. There's guaranteed beef. Yeah, he pissed Tatum off for sure right there, man. But the Hornets are better than people think, man. I won't say it anymore after this, but the Hornets, they're a little bit better than people think. It's not Hornets team from last year. LaMelo is that guy. Like I say, Trey Mann over there. You got Grant Williams over there pissing people off.
Charles Lee's a phenomenal coach.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. He has them playing defense, man. So let's see what happens with the but yeah, I wouldn't trust the Wolves here laying 9.5. They have not really looked like that type of team to be laying double digits with. I'd lean towards the Hornets there plus 9.5 as well. Let's go over here to OKC in this one, man. The Thunder, man. This team is playing really great defense. These young guys, like all starting five, all the starters literally got better over the summer. They're locked in on defense. Like this team looks like the Virginia Cavaliers from 2-3 years ago playing defense, man. So I'm watching the Magic yesterday. Franz Wagner is a 6'8" guy. He has to run point guard for this team. We know that Banchero is out for a little while. They don't really have a point guard over there. That their offense really struggled. The Mavs locked them up, held them to what, like 80-some points. What do you think the Thunder are going to do? Fiddle, I feel like this is a team total under spot for the Magic. They really struggle offensively, man. They really do. And the Thunder are not a defense to be messing around. They're a team that you can't have ball handling against, Fiddle. What do you think about this guy? I know it's an astronomical number, and the Magic have the major size advantage here, right? Even though Wendell Carter Jr. is banged up as well. He left yesterday's game, but like the Magic still have a ton of like tall as lengthy guys here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to own the boards here, but it's just offensively, I don't know what these guys are going to do versus Thunder team. What do you think here, Phil?
This is one of those, you got to talk about correlated angles between lines. If you have a plus 12.5 at the same time, you have a total at 215. Like 215 is quite low for an NBA total. 12.5 is quite high for an NBA spread. So there's essentially correlated value between taking the Magic against the spread with the under, but that feels absolutely disgusting to do right now, given the fact that they're playing without Paolo. The team total is priced low. I think it's 101.5 is the number that I see. That's right around what their points per 100 possessions is without Paolo in the lineup this season. But now they go against a team that's just a brutal defense. So yeah. If this is a spot where the Magic are held under 100, I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I got nothing on this game, but I don't mind anything in that.
Their team total is low. It's like at 101.5.
Yeah, 101.5.
I don't see them getting past 100 points. Like I said, the Mavs are not a bad defensive team. They're actually a really good defensive team. If you go back and look at that game, the Magic couldn't do anything offensively. Like their guys are banged up right now. And I know everybody loves the Magic. They're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games, man. So, but like I say, without Banchero, they actually looked a little bit better versus the Cavs than they were supposed to, obviously with some playoff revenge. But this Thunder team is literally like on a mission. Their defense is scrappy. They're all over the place. they only have one guy that can really contend with the length of the Magic, but I'm not gonna lie. If I had to bet the spread, I don't know. I still couldn't take the Magic though, just because I know that they can't score. I think the under in this game is a really good play, and because the Magic can still play some good defense as well. And the Thunder, I don't like the spot for them. Fiddle, two road games, coming back home for one game, then you head back out on the road to go to Denver as well. I don't like laying the points in this particular spot, especially double digits. I think I would take the full game under, and then Magic team total under as well. If the Magic did cover the spread, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't like how their offense looks right now. I mean, Wagner's not a point guard, man. They got to stop this shit. Few more games here, Phil. Let's go over here to New Orleans. This one, Pelicans land 2.5 versus the Blazers. I got nothing on this one, Phil.
Bathroom break.
Yeah, this game here, like literally, this is a bad one. Pelicans did just lose to the Blazers not too long ago. You need to see if Zion's playing. Simple.
Like I would like to. Time they've played this season too, Jay. It's crazy.
Yeah,
like that's 2 weeks into the season, third time already. Like gross.
They barely beat them that first time. The first time they played, they beat them 105-103. Then the second game, 125-103. They literally smoked them that time around, man. So but the Pelicans are coming out. They're shit. Willie Green might get fired here pretty soon, man. They're 2-5 against the spread so far this season. They need Zion today. They could possibly bounce back and get some revenge, but you need Zion. He had hamstring tightness yesterday and didn't end up playing. So they probably take it a little easy with him. But if you want any part of the Pelicans in this one, you definitely need to see if Zion's out there. If he's not, I'd actually take the Blazers here. Once again, if Zion's out again, Brandon Ingram, he just can't do it by himself, man. Let's go over here to Dallas.
Okay, go ahead. No, I just like, especially like the Blazers have good defenders like Toumani Camara and then rim protection behind it. The Pelicans just don't have the shooting for this matchup. It's crazy. Hamstrung is the perfect word to describe Zion's career.
Yeah.
Capital ham and then strung.
Hawkins can shoot though. I can't tell you that.
Yeah, but he's been banged up too.
Yeah, that's a fact. Let's go over here to Dallas and do some Mavs laying 5 at the house versus the Pacers. Would have liked to take the Pacers in this spot. I was mentioning this last year. Pay attention to teams. I mean, it's not really to that point in the season, but pay attention to teams when they're playing like teams like the Pacers or the Kings that really like run like that. That they fly up and down the court. You know what I mean? So pay attention to that when they're going up against a team on the back-to-back. They can literally run them off the floor. Pacers are coming off of a bad loss as well, if I'm not mistaken. But they keep dropping guys. They keep dropping. They don't really have a ton of length down there. Like Miles Turner is really the biggest guy they got. Isaiah Jackson just went out with a torn Achilles as well. They let go of Jalen Smith last year. So they're in the market looking for a backup big here. We know Carlisle come back to Dallas. He's obviously going to want to win this game. He has insights on how to stop Luka. Neesmith is out as well. I don't like that because he would have been the guy that's on Luka. I wanted to take Pacers here. They have a couple key injuries that's keeping me off this game, Fiddle.
Yeah, Pacers are super soft for me this year. And the Mavs are like one of the toughest teams in the league. So there's also the rim protection angle where like Ijax is hurt. Turner's been banged up. And you know how often the Mavericks like to, do a Luka pick and roll and then slide a backdoor cutter in for the alley-oop over the guy's head. So I have nothing on this game. We're also seeing the total climb from 235.5 to 237. Like that's almost at the point where I would go directionally the other way and go with an under with the Mavs on the back-to-back, with the Mavs preaching defense, with some of the injuries to the Pacers. So like
they playing good D.
I'm not a guy who fades the market. I like to find the direction of the market and then match a good number with it. But under 237 is a hard one to pass up.
Yeah, that's a fact because the Mavs have actually so the addition of Najee Marshall and Quinn Grimes has really turned them into like a little bit more of a dog type of team. So I'm saying that because remember they added PJ Washington and Gafford. Now you added 2 more dogs. Now you added 2 more dogs. So now this team, like you see Kyrie, everybody's playing defense except for Luka. I'm telling you that right now. Luka's still not on that curve. Let's go play lockdown defense. No, I hadn't really paid attention, but Luka, they're doing the same thing. Put him on the worst shooter over there on the wing and have him just kind of staring at the rest of the game. Like Luka once, I see him get blown by, like they were blowing by his ass last night as well, man. Even the Magic guys, they were blowing right past Luka. He wants no part to do with defense, but arguing with the refs. That's
Jay, do you know what Luka does when he makes a good defensive play in these games? Have you ever seen him? He looks towards his bench and he goes, first team all defense. Yeah. Every time he gets a steal, the ball stops. He just looks over and goes, first team.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked at the refs as well. Where's
Oh
my
yeah.
foul call? If I had, man, if I wish we could bet on that. But yeah, it's a tough game. The under is actually that's a super high
It's
total,
too
to be
high.
honest with you. Yeah,
I wouldn't be
that was high
surprised if
as
it
well.
closes back at 235.5 and like I'm
Yeah,
like kicking myself that I should have played the under. I'm looking at it.
yeah.
I haven't done it yet.
I do think the under gets there, man. Let's go over here to Denver in this one. Nuggets land 10.5. It is snowing here as well. It's snowing here in Denver. Nuggets land 10.5 versus the Raptors in this one, man. They just played as well. Raptors played them super close. It's another game where I'm sorry, man. I'm not laying 10. The Raptors are ass. They're coming. This is probably a letdown spot for the Raptors here as well. Because the Nuggets, we know that they're due to start picking things up. It took overtime and they only won by 2 in Toronto, but Raptors might have a huge letdown here after winning another game in overtime versus the Kings on Vince Carter night. This could possibly be a letdown spot here, Fiddle. But do we trust the Nuggets? I know that they just beat the Jazz by 26 at the house. Do we trust them and land 10.5 here?
No, I think it's impossible to trust the Nuggets right now, especially against this is similar to Charlotte and Minnesota. The Raptors are one of those teams shooting way more threes than expectation. The Nuggets are the other direction. They're probably not shooting enough threes, so it's really tough to play the math game and back them. Raptors were 7.5-point dogs at home against the Nuggets in a game that went to overtime a week ago. The Nuggets pulled it out and won in OT with a lucky fourth quarter run to force overtime. Jamal Murray reverse layup, which was beautiful to make that happen in his hometown, Canada, home country, Canada. And then I just think I played the over in this game when it was at 225. Now it's up to 231.5. $40 fine for me mentioning a line that's no longer there, but I don't think you could play. $40. I don't think you could play 231.5 anymore in either direction. I don't think you could play a 10.5.
You got it at 225?
Yeah.
Damn, that shit went up 5 points. That's crazy. The Raptors have been playing really fast this year. Like they've literally made a point. Let's get up and go. So maybe they're one of those type of teams that they're trying to get like the Kings or the Pacers where they're just going absolutely crazy there, man. They've been playing at a literally blitzing type of pace there, but I don't know if they want to do that here in Denver. You're gonna run out of gas in the fourth quarter, man. This is one to live bets. The Raptors keep it close early. Look for the Nuggets second half in this one as well. I believe Murray is still out. It could be addition by subtraction. Murray's playing like absolute ass out there. It's crazy because like the market, like, oh, okay, Murray's worth 2 points to the spread. No, you know what? You should add 2 points to the spread. They should be 2 point more favorites with Murray being out. He's been playing absolute ass, man. Seriously though.
This comment right here of Mavs -7 revenge game against their ex-coach. They were swept last year with the trash talking. Just interesting that they play last night against Jamal Mosley and then tonight against Rick Carlisle. It was Rick Carlisle with lead assistant Jamal Mosley on this team. And then when Carlisle left, there was just a wide assumption that Mosley was going to take over the Mavericks job. And then they went and hired Jason Kidd. Yeah, he really should have.
Moses is great,
good too, but yeah, that was
their defense was ass at first, bro. When Mosley left, he was one of the main guys that had, like, if I'm not mistaken, that's when they had Tyson Chandler and they won the championship as well, man. So they got rid of Mosley.
Still have Tyson Chandler. His name's just Derek Lively now.
Yeah, and Chandler has been coaching him up as well. That's like his wingman. So yeah, that's a really great point though as well. Really great point, man. Let's go over here to Phoenix in this one. Only 2 more games, guys, and we're out here. Suns. You know what, Fiddle? That's something that's perplexing me. Paul George is supposed to come back in this game, and the line went up for the Suns.
Yep.
I'm like, what's going on
here? My guy
here?
right now, it's speaking my language, noticing these things and going, what the hell is going on? Why are the Suns taking steam, and why is the under taking steam when Paul George is returning? You would assume over movement, and you would assume Sixers movement. My only explanation for it, Jay, is we kind of knew PG was going to be back for this game when the pricing originally came out. So I think it was priced in that he was going to play. And now we're seeing some sharp action on it. Still come in on the Suns. Under Budenholzer, Suns are shooting 5 more threes a game. Their fourth quarter efficiency has gotten so much better. And their defense has actually improved.
Yeah. Hell yeah, it has.
You go from Vogel to Budenholzer, you think, oh, Vogel's a defensive genius. Like, Bud's running a great defensive scheme for them. So I played the under at 226. It's now at 223.5. I don't feel great about it. If anything, I'd look back the other direction. Suns -7, steep on the road for this team, but they're playing great, and the Sixers look like trash. So stay away.
Sixers look like trash with just Maxey and the guys. Getting Paul George is going to help. Now, I can't say a really good angle to look at when these guys come back. that hadn't really got a chance to do a lot of practice or running and gunning is to look under their points, because Paul George might try to be a little bit more of a facilitator, a little bit more of a decoy tonight than he is just going out there scoring 30 points on his first night back. The Suns have really great defenders as well. They're going to obviously focus on Maxey and Paul George as well. So I'm not going to lie. I don't agree with, like, I think the Sixers are immediately better. Whenever they get Paul George and Embiid back, they'll be immediately better, in my opinion. Like, that's when they'll have their big three, and it's like, it's going to be hard to just stop one guy. That's what's happening with Maxey right now. You load up on him, make the rest of these bums beat you, and then that's when they get smoked. When Maxey has room and then they have to respect somebody like Paul George, that's when they're going to start back going crazy. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at the line yesterday. I'm like, Paul George come back. This line's going from 5 to 7. I don't really respect it. I'm off this game, but I think Paul George could actually go over his assists and under his points in this particular game. It's actually a really good angle there as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if Philly covered. They've been playing way too bad. They couldn't wait to get one of these superstars back, and it's just going to pick the rest of the team like, all right, come on, we got one of the guys back. Now I have to do less, but focus on defense. I think the under could be a really good look here. I don't know what Paul George's points is. What his points is, Fiddle. Can you look that up for me real quick?
Yeah, I think someone dropped in the chat 17.5, but I will
Paul
pull
George?
up.
No, hell no.
I'll pull up what
they say 17.5. They already know. Shit. That can't be said. I don't know. That's pretty low there.
I got you.
They say 17.5.
17.5 is
crazy, yeah.
widely across the board.
Damn, son.
The best vig you can get if you wanted the unders, I think the direction that you wanted, Jay, under is minus 110 at DraftKings. It's 113 at FanDuel, 120 at MGM, 121 at Caesars, 140.
Maybe he's like on a limits restriction or a minutes restriction. It has to be, because his line should be like 25.5. That's disrespectful to Paul George.
Yeah, it should be 22.5 when he's fully up to steam. Yeah.
Yeah, he could play. I know he's not fully up yet, but like he's gonna be taking some shots. He has to, bro. This team is not good offensively, other than Maxey right now until they get in their groove. I don't know. That 17. I wouldn't take under the 17.5. Even he might have minutes restriction, but I wouldn't take that. I thought it was gonna be 25.5, where there's room for him. You know what I'm saying, to be in that 22, 23 range. 17.5 is a little low. I don't care if he's playing 25 minutes. He's gonna get these shots up, man. So I'd look towards under in this game, though. But yeah, maybe over assists as well. But let's get to the last game, man. I have a really nice play in this game, Fiddle. We're going with Clippers in the first quarter. This team has covered every. Hey, Fiddle, this shit makes so much sense too. I love when it's a play when it's shown fruition, where like there's not much data, but we've even seen so far this season as well. These teams are really struggling going into that Intuit Dome in that first quarter, and it makes perfect sense as well. The sidelines are different. They have these shits where it's like the wall. Players have even said it's tough to shoot free throws, let alone shooting threes, which we know it's a 3-point shooting league. We know that the Spurs aren't the best 3-point shooting team as well. They're obviously worried about their coach as well. I know they're probably going to want to play hard for Pop, but Pop has a little health issue right now and wasn't able to make this road trip. He's going to be okay, but it's just a little bit scared. We know he's getting older as well, and the Clippers have covered every single first quarter spread so far this season. Even the last game as well, and they lost versus the Thunder and ended up losing the game by double digits. They still led after the first quarter versus the Oklahoma City Thunder as well, man. So there was only one game. There was the first game of the season where they didn't lead, but they were still +1 underdogs in that first quarter, and it was a tie game. So I'm taking Clippers in the first quarter here, -1. I love this spot. It makes sense with the team struggling in that new arena as well, whereas the Clippers are used to it. They're 5-0 so far this season in the first quarter, 5-0 against the spread, 6-0 against the spread in the first quarter of the season, 4-0 against the spread at the house. I'm taking Clippers in the first quarter here, -1 here, Fiddle. I like the angle here. What do you think about this game?
I love the fact that you're coming in with a strong angle on the Clippers game, because I know my rights to speaking about the Clippers have been revoked around these podcasts. I will say the only thing I really want to say for this situation and the Pop situation is like, best wishes to Greg Popovich right now with whatever he's dealing with. Obviously, the election's tomorrow, and Pop is a pretty politically spoken person.
That's a fact.
I don't give a shit what anyone's politics are. He is a legend in the NBA game, so move that BS to the side. We'll wish this man well. Greg Pop, we hope to see you back. We hope all the best for you, and even though people might have some animosity towards him in other areas, like legend in the NBA space, let's put that to the side and root best for Pop. I agree with your Clippers take. I that might be one that I tell you for sure. I like that.
This is the spot that I love today. I'm looking at the card yesterday. There are some spots, there are some lanes that I have. This is one that I'm betting for sure. Like, this is a spot that I'll live and die with. I love the Clippers in this spot. Like I say, even teams that are better than them, it doesn't matter. The Clippers are coming out, and it's really showing. Like, the Thunder had 18 points in the first quarter. They had 19 points. The score was 28-19. The Clippers were over the Thunder in the first quarter. We see how the Thunder been playing. This team is probably one of the most, other than the Celtics, are probably one of the most well-balanced teams in the NBA. If the Clippers can do it versus them, I definitely think they can do it versus the Spurs as well, who are not really a great shooting team already. I definitely don't expect their shooting to get even better into a dome over there. And I'm not going to lie to you. The Clippers have won 7 straight versus the Spurs. I think they get their first win in the Intuit Dome here tonight. Shout out to Drewski over there. I even think that they covered a -3.5 as well. First quarter is my absolute top spot in this game, but I also think the Clippers get it done full game as well. This could be a trifecta spot for the Clippers in this one. I was supposed to get my Clippers and give myself a little edge up here on the show, but I don't want to fuck my shit up here right on the show, man. So
Nice.
we're not going to do that, but I will give myself an edge up right after this show. Edge the beard up, Clippers first quarter -1, top spot of the day, baby. Let's go, Fiddle. Let's get up out of here, my brother. We went through every single game, gave them our lanes, gave them our picks. Recap with all your picks, Fiddle. I know you got about 10 of them, my brother. What do you like today?
Based on the board right now, I would look towards the Celtics Hawks under, if you could find like a 233.5. I like
I forgot one of the games.
Which one?
The Bulls versus Jazz.
Oh,
Did you have anything on that one?
No, I think that one's like it's we've seen the half-point move when Markkanen went to doubtful. I don't think anything is worth it in that game. Laying 8 with the Bulls probably not worth it, even though I'm pro Bulls this season, but that one's just feels like a total stay away.
If Markkanen plays, you want to take the Jazz there. Simple.
Oh yeah, in my opinion. Yes.
But watch him go from out to doubtful to questionable to game time to probable. Watch this shit happen. I'm telling you this, man.
I saw someone smart tweet. I saw someone really smart tweet. Only in the NBA is where a player can go from out to doubtful to questionable to game time decision to probable and vice versa. It was Jay Money who sent that tweet.
That was me. And this is the game I was talking about. And watch this shit happen in marketing. He sees that, the Bulls, that's the team that drafted me. You know what? I'm not hurt anymore. Now I'm suiting up to play, and I'm going to go and show their ass. Obviously, the Jazz are 0-6 on the season. First off, the Bulls shouldn't be laying 8.5 points. I'm sorry. They should not be laying. This is their first time being a favorite so far this season. I don't care. They shouldn't be laying 8.5 points versus anybody. But the Jazz do need Markkanen out there. Markkanen plays, and I don't care if it goes down to 6.5 or 5.5. I will take the Jazz in this spot and possibly sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. But Fiddle, I'm sorry. Run down your picks for me, please, if you don't mind.
The Wolves Hornets over 226, I think, is a strong spot, as well as potentially Mavericks Pacers under 237. I like your Clippers first quarter, man, too. Quickly for that Clippers Spurs game, biggest line movement in the season so far. Jay, that total opened at 227.
I saw that shit, bro. I saw that. Damn. I did not
see that. I wish I saw that because I would have played. I
didn't see the line. I saw the move though. I saw that. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, that's crazy right there. It's absolutely crazy. All right.
Get your popcorn ready for today's NBA because fourth quarter is going to be madness.
Were you finished with all your picks?
Yeah, I think based on current numbers, I think those are the best ones to still play.
Okay, got you. Yeah, for me, Clippers first quarter -1, absolute top spot for me. I'm not gonna lie to you, I lean their way in full game as well. They have not won so far in the Intuit Dome. This is the perfect spot for it to happen, is in my opinion. Obviously, Pop's not gonna be on the sidelines as well, but we know how the Spurs are, man. Like, this team is already not a great shooting team. I think they really struggle. They possibly even go under their team total as well. That's why you've seen so much steam, in my opinion, come on this game. The books are realizing it's really hard for these teams to go into that Intuit Dome and shoot the basketball well. We saw it with the Suns first game of the season. This is probably one of the top shooting teams in the league. Even the Suns struggled to shoot in this particular game, even free throws as well. I think it will take the Spurs a little bit of time to get adjusted to this game and adjusted to not having Pop out there. They still have one coach and Chris Paul, but I love this spot for the Clippers. This team is 6-0 in the first 6-0 against the spread in the first quarter this season, my guys, and 4-0 against the spread at the house. And like I said, it makes perfect sense against as well. It's a new dome. Clippers are used to shooting there. These other teams that are coming there for the first time are not. These guys have came out well in every single game in the first quarter. I think they make it 7-0 today, man. Give me the Clippers in the first quarter, -1, top spot of the day, baby. Let's get this fucking cash, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all have a great day. Make some money, man. 736 people watching live. Hope y'all hit the like button, man. Share the channel. Leave some comments below. Let whatever parlays you bet, man, whatever props you're betting, let us know in the comments. We're all trying to cash here together. It's all love. Y'all enjoy the games. Have a great day. Go get a workout in. Drink some water, man. Go for a little walk. Whatever you got to do. Get that exercise in, baby. Let's get this cash, baby. Yeah, let's go. We will win.